Here it is, folks. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. Max Verstappen has finally broken his silence regarding Lewis Hamilton's comments about the Dutchman possibly having an issue with him. Since the electrifying 2021 season that came to a controversial finish, Verstappen and Hamilton have been pitted against each other every which way. From the track all the way to the press room, the two drivers seem to have an unspoken feud going on between them, so it'll be interesting to see what Max has to say. Plus, we'll be taking a look at Formula One's newest partnership, Red Bull and Ford. All that and more to come, so stay tuned. Around 2 weeks ago, Formula One's Dutch publication asked Lewis what the relationship is like between him and the two-time world champion. He claimed that any problem between them are just fairy tales, and that he has a lot of respect for Max. For those of you that missed it, this is what Lewis said. People like to talk about there being problems between Max and me. I respect him. He is a lot younger, so maybe he has a problem with me, but I am not sure about that, and I actually assume not. Although I can't speak for him. Max has been quiet about Lewis's comments until recently, when Red Bull unveiled their RB19 livery in New York. There, he was asked to set the record straight regarding the current situation between him and Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen was surprisingly quick to dismiss the speculation that there was a one-sided feud coming from his end. I have no issues with anyone. We had that dinner in Abu Dhabi. We had a laugh with everyone. We all had a good time, so that's okay. Even though Max took the high road this time, there are some that think he still has a long way to go before cleaning up his act. His personality both on and off the track has caused him to be painted as an intense individual, and because of that, people either love him or hate him. One such person on the more negative end of the spectrum is former Williams and Ferrari team manager Peter Windsor, who took direct shots at Verstappen's conduct. Windsor commented on Max's actions after being disconnected while leading in the virtual Le Mans online race. The issue happened shortly after the race in Brazil, where Verstappen refused to let his teammate Sergio Perez pass him for a shot at second place in the Drivers' Championship. In this race, we also heard Max berating his team's strategists for even asking such a thing from him. In Windsor's Twitch stream, he addressed the Le Mans virtual race incident, saying that as an F1 champion, Verstappen needs to show more decorum. He started things off by saying, "It's a bit petulant, that actually." Windsor then proceeded to say, "He got a bit upset because some sim thing he was doing, a Le Mans race I think, packed up before the end of the race. This is a double world champion, who should be setting an example to the younger generation, and the generation he's in, who got annoyed about it as if technology failures never happen. I mean, come on. I'm a Max fan, but somebody around him needs to be saying, Max, Max, Max. Stay calm. Stay who you are. Don't become a petulant twit, because that's just ridiculous. A world champion needs to show off a little bit of decorum and a little bit of dignity, and needs to set a bit of an example of not getting angry or upset or frustrated over things other than things to do with his own world, in the cockpit in which he's racing and the car in which he's driving. But to start getting annoyed about sim games going wrong is petulant. I've used the word 3 times now, and I don't regret it." As of the moment, the Dutchman is yet to reply to Windsor's comments, but I have a feeling his response won't be as civilized as his response to Lewis. In other news, exciting times for all you Red Bull fans as the team is officially partnering with Ford for the 2026 season and beyond. The technical partnership was announced on Friday, and from 2026 until at least 2030, Ford will be developing a next-gen power unit for Red Bull and AlphaTauri. In the past few years, Honda supplied engines for Red Bull, resulting in 2 drivers' championships and 1 constructors' title. This partnership will end in 2025 under good circumstances. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner has nothing but good things to say about the Japanese manufacturer. "We've had an incredible partnership with Honda, and when they initially announced their withdrawal from Formula One in 2020, it was with great sadness, and that's what prompted the creation of Red Bull Powertrains, to take control of our own future. And as we set out on that journey, there was a change of plan with Honda, thankfully, to agree to continue to supply engines till the end of 2025, until we were building up our resource for 2026. That contract we have is until the end of 2025. We have a great working relationship. They are an incredible company, and under the current regulations, we will be pushing with Honda all the way until the last race of the 2025 season." Horner went on to discuss the details of their brand new partnership, revealing that the deal was made for both technical and commercial reasons. This is a purely commercial and technical deal, so there is no exchange of any shares or participation within the business. It's a very straightforward agreement where we will have the ability to share and have access to R&D, particularly on the EV side and self-technology, software development, and so on. And then on the commercial side, with Ford being so prevalent in the US, as a commercial partner, it enables us to help achieve even more penetration in that market. Now let's hear from Ford Global Director Mark Rushbrook, who explains why Ford came back to F1 when they did. Ford's interest started 2+ years ago, when we started to see and understand what the future of the sport was with the technology changes, the commitment to sustainable fuels, the net carbon zero, and the change to the technical regulations to make electrification an even bigger component of the hybrid power unit. That became of interest to us because we knew we could contribute something technically, but also continue to learn in those areas. Rushbrook also admitted that the sport's growing popularity caught their attention as well. In parallel to that, we saw what was happening to the sport itself, with the popularity, the growing global fanbase, and diversity of that fanbase, which would then give us a platform to tell our story. As we saw that really coming together and continuing to grow, we started to think, okay, this is looking like maybe it's the right time to get back into F1. And as for why they chose Red Bull, Rushbrook went on to say, "You've got to come back in the right way. As soon as people knew Ford had some interest, a lot of people came forward, whether it was an existing team or prospective teams, to see if there was an opportunity for us to partner with them. With Red Bull, it was quickly apparent that what they were looking for in a partner is something we could bring, and what we were looking for in a partner is something they could bring. Red Bull's grand unveiling in New York surely has the other teams, particularly Ferrari and Mercedes, worried about the upcoming season. And after winning it all last year, F1 fans expect Red Bull to continue dominating the sport. But if you were to ask them who they consider to be their biggest threat, Max Verstappen is here to answer the question. And despite underperforming last year, he still considers the Silver Arrows as the obstacle to overcome on his way to his 3rd straight title. I think even at the end of the year, it looked like sometimes they had it together and sometimes not. So from my side, it's difficult to say because I'm not part of the team. But I guess we'll find out this year. If they fully understand everything they wanted to improve on the car, of course, they will be our main rival. Verstappen also talked about Ferrari, apparently unsure of the team's ability to compete with the best of them. He added that, "But I think Ferrari will be strong, but how strong is difficult to say. But Mercedes have shown, of course, over the last few years that they've been really strong, but they have a good group of people as well. But I trust in my people at Milton Keynes that they can build a very strong car together with an engine as well. I hope that we again have a strong package against them." So, what do you think? Are you buying Verstappen's nonchalance towards Lewis's comments, or is there bad blood brewing behind the scenes? Share your thoughts down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to keep up with the latest F1 news.